everybody, my name is Abby and this is Sunny D Writes. Since the beginning of quarantine, I've had way more time than usual to write and to create and to just build my craft in general, which is awesome. I'm having a really great time with it and I'm learning a lot about myself as a writer. One thing in particular that I've learned is that I tend to get a lot of ideas for characters on a daily basis, and I mean a lot. At this point, we're talking at least one every other day. And because I'm currently working on 3 different stories, I've made a promise to myself not to start working on another idea until at least one is in the hands of my beta readers. So this created a bit of a conundrum for me because I had all of these character ideas that were going to waste. Cue the genius and definitely not thought of before character bank. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely not the first person to do this. And I know I won't be the last either, but my character bank is already working wonders for me, and here's why you should create one for yourself if you haven't already. Number 1, save your ideas. I have never felt a pain stronger than getting an idea and willingly letting myself forget it because I didn't have the time to commit to it. Character banks give you the opportunity to save your ideas for later use. They also give you the chance to return to these character ideas later and develop them as fully as you want. Number 2, it saves work. Take a second to imagine. You've just gotten this amazing story idea and now you're creating your cast of characters. When you have a character bank, some of your work might already be saved for you because you already have a huge list of characters that you can pick from. Remember that while every character may not come from your character bank for every story, this could save a lot of work for you. Number 3, they help generate ideas. It can be really easy for us writers to look at 2 characters and go, they have really cool potential to make a story together, which is really cool. And if you hadn't taken the time to develop these characters and look at them side by side, you may not have seen those connections in the first place. My character bank is on the smaller side, but from one character alone, I've already gotten a huge story idea, which again, I can't really work on yet because I've devoted myself to 3 other projects, but it's on the list, just very low. But it's there. Number 4, you get practice in character development. Let's be honest here. Every character idea that you've ever gotten has been at least a little bit different from all the other characters you've developed in your life, or maybe they've been wildly different. Your character bank may even be divided for characters of different species if those are the kind of ideas that you're getting. None of my characters are of different species, but I will give you a quick example of some of the characters that I've developed so far. There's a doll-modding woman with an eccentric fashion sense, a girl living in her own apartment who often plays host to her menagerie of siblings, and a boy with anterograde amnesia. Creating these personalities and backstories, as well as giving them some general personality development, has taught me a lot as a writer. I've learned about character development and what I can do to make my characters seem more realistic. Once you get into creating characters more regularly, you'll find that it teaches you a lot of worthwhile lessons, and those are going to be reflected in your writing too. Number 5. It might be fun. I personally am a huge fan of character development, and it's one of my favorite parts of the entire process. And I know a lot of artists and writers out there who really enjoy original character development as well. If you want something fun and writing related to do, creating a character bank may be right up your alley. So now that I've gone over all of the reasons why you should have a character bank, let me give you some tips just in case you want to get started. Number 1, these characters are templates. Remember that character development can come to be a lot of work, and you may not need to develop all of your characters in your bank right this minute. These characters are going to be changed and molded by the story they're put into. So you may not even need to decide things like their arc or the way that they react to other characters until they're actually in a story. For now, you're creating one static person. The dynamics come later. Number 2, be careful with your specifics, because again, this is just a template and they don't really have a story yet. It's fine for your characters to have general requiremts, like this character needs to live in a world that has multiple different intelligent species, because it's possible for you to come up with a world that satisfies that need. But if it turns into something like, this character needs to live in a world that has multiple different species and including 2 warring nations, neither of which the character lives in, so that they can become a diplomat and solve this war and become a hero within their own country, is a little more unrealistic. Eventually, it starts to come off like the world and the story and the history of everything was created so that this one character could exist. And I mean, nobody's going to stop you, but that eventually comes off as a little bit ridiculous to your readers. Number 3, you may not use all of your characters. You have a character bank, and that's awesome. However, it's possible that some of your characters may never fit into any of the stories that you're building. Remember that every single character you build is going to teach you something about yourself and your capabilities as a writer, even if those characters never find their way into a story. Number 4, back up your work. I don't know exactly what you're creating in these banks, but for me personally, all of my character profiles are about 1.5 pages long, if not more. Character banks are useful and important, so you want to make sure that your work is backed up on at least one platform. Because if something happens and you lose all of your characters and all of that work, let me tell you from first-hand experience, it's not a good time. So look into backing up on Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, Microsoft Word, even a flash drive. Any way that it's accessible is the way that's going to work for you. Number 5. Be consistent with your information types. This one kind of comes down to personal preference, but I'm including it anyway because it's my video. For my characters, I've developed a habit of writing their name, their nickname, their age, their gender, their sexuality, their physical appearance, their defining personality traits, their backstory, and any other information that I've thought of. I prefer for my characters to all have the same information, what I consider the basics of character building. So if you're creating a character bank, do consider taking the time to make sure that the information types you're including for your characters are consistent across every profile. And that's all I've got for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments or any follow-up questions, feel free to leave them down below in the comments or over on my blog at Sunny D Writes. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to drop a like or subscribe to let me know. And if you found this video extra helpful, please do consider donating to me as a creator over in my Ko-Fi, which I will leave linked down below. And until next time, happy writing!